Not enough people are going out to eat these days. How are the fast food restaurants responding? Hello and welcome to another business news breakdown. I'm Ku. This is our laboratory for learning. Today we're going to take a look at fast food restaurants and what they're doing to bring in new customers when a lot of people aren't going out to eat as much. We'll take a look at some vocabulary, some business concepts, and hopefully learn a little bit about the industry and a little bit more about business English. Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and start our next KuLAB. As always, I like to start by giving our authors accreditation. So let's give a thanks to Evie Liu. Let's take a look at our headline. Fast food bets big on beverages to get customers through the door. Okay, the first thing we'll notice is words like fast food next to each other. Bets big on beverages. This is a literary term called alliteration, where you put words that have the same first sound, usually a consonant, together to make it more fun and interesting, especially in a headline. So bets is to lay a bet, is to sort of gamble, to think, oh, this will happen. And if it does happen, you'll have a big return. So bets big on beverages. Fast food giants are betting big on beverages, not just as an add-on, but as a core growth engine. With high margins, frequent consumption, and Gen Z's social media allure, drinks could offer chains a chance to turn around declining foot traffic. All right, fantastic. Lots of fun, interesting words in this one. Let's break it down. Actually, let's start with core growth engine. Core growth engine is what the business is about. So a fast food restaurant sells food. Core growth engine for a company is what it mainly sells. Its main purpose, or what it sells the most of. Now, usually we think of fast food restaurants as selling the food. Get a hamburger or a hot dog, and sometimes you get a drink extra. You maybe will get a set, it'll come with a drink. This is saying that fast food restaurants are going to start focusing on beverages. Let's find out why. High margins means they're worth a lot. The margins are the difference between what it cost the company to make something and what they can sell it for. So if I can make something for $1, but I can sell it for $2, my margin is $1. The difference between what it takes me to make something and what I can sell it for. So if something has high margins, it means it's really cheap to make, inexpensive to make, and it sells for a lot of money. Usually in the food industry, we have very low margins. Many times the materials used to make something like a hamburger, the price increase is just a little bit. But things like beverage have a high margin. So this means it's very cheap to make it and it can sell for quite a bit. Frequent consumption. Frequent just means a lot of people get drinks. Frequent means many. Consumption means to consume. Many people consume these beverages. And the next one is probably the most important. Gen Z's social media allure. So allure is something that's attractive, or something that you want to do over and over, something interesting. Social media allure means that Generation Z is attracted to social media. These beverages, these interesting new drinks, a lot of people like to show them off on social media. And so they have an allure. It looks fascinating to have this really cool drink. And so social media allure is driving people to buy drinks. Drinks could offer chains a chance to turn around declining foot traffic. Chains just means a group of restaurants, like McDonald's is a chain. It means there's many of the same restaurant over a large area. Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC. And foot traffic. So foot traffic, people who are walking by. A lot of times a location is measured by how much foot traffic is there. So if you're in a big city, like New York City, lots of people are walking by. That's foot traffic. And maybe there's a chance they come into your store. Now, in other cities, especially in the United States of America, foot traffic is maybe at a mall, or if people go someplace and then they walk around an area. Having people come by your business is very important. So this is saying foot traffic is declining. They're hoping that these drinks could bring them in. Balancing complexity and execution is key. Customers like novel drinks, but don't crave too many options or overly complicated concoctions. Simpler recipes, visual wow factors, and a lean operation could be critical to success. So another fun paragraph to learn a little bit about some business English. So balancing complexity and execution is key. Complexity is how difficult something is. Something that is complex is the opposite of easy. You want this drink to be interesting, maybe have a few interesting items in it, but you don't want it to be too complex. It's difficult to talk about, so you want to make it just complex enough to be interesting. And execution. In this sentence, execution means how you deliver a product. To execute on something means to do it. Complexity and execution is key. Key right here means important. So if something is key, it means it's very important to that process. Consumers like novel drinks. So in this sentence, novel means new. So you can have a novel idea. It's another word to say new or unique. So in this case, consumers like novel drinks, but don't crave too many options or overcomplicated concoctions. Concoctions is a fun word that means to mix something together. We often think of the very classic witch's brew, where they're putting all kinds of things in this big bowl or cauldron. That's called a concoction. Many times drinks that have a lot of different liquids in them, we call them concoctions. So this sentence is saying they want something new and interesting, but don't make it too complex. Make sure that it's easy to talk about and easy to understand for both the person drinking it and for the viewer. Simpler recipes, visual wow factors, and a lean operation could be critical to success. From the business point of view, simpler recipes, so easy to make. If it's too difficult, requires too many ingredients, you lose some of that margin. You have to buy more things to put in this one drink. Visual wow factor means it looks interesting. Bright colors. Think of drinks from like Starbucks with cream and all kinds of sprinkles on top and some sort of, candy cane coming out of it. These types of things are what they're talking about. And a lean operation could be critical to success. So lean operation, you can do it with few people. So if something is lean, it means there's not much there, not much happening. So few people. Lean, when we're talking about things like meat or person, means there's not a lot of extra fat. So in this kind of situation, it means not a lot of extra people. Again, saving the company money. Fast food chains have struggled with fewer customer visits and sluggish sales since last year, as aggressive price hikes, tariff headwinds, and shifting consumer preference towards healthier food have weighed on businesses. So this is saying that fast food restaurants have a lot of obstacles, a lot of difficulties to overcome. Not many people are coming to fast food restaurants. Sluggish sales. Sluggish means very slow, not happening very often. Obviously low in quantity. So sluggish sales since last year. Notice our alliteration again. Sluggish sales since. Aggressive price hikes. Their prices have gone up. So hikes means to go up. If you have a hike, you go up. Tariff headwinds. So some of these fast food chains import some of their ingredients. And so now that there are tariffs involved, those import costs will go up. Right? And remember, the businesses pay the price for the tariffs, not the country being tariffed. The businesses, the American or whatever country you're in, those businesses pay that higher price They can choose to absorb it, or they can choose to pass it on to the customer. In almost every case, they pass that cost onto the customer. And shifting consumer preference toward healthier food. This is saying that many people aren't going to places like McDonald's or Burger King or fast food places because they're choosing to eat healthier. So these fast food restaurants don't see as much foot traffic because people are choosing to eat somewhere else. Compared with food, beverages are relatively easy to make, requiring less labor and supply chain complexity. Drinks also have a higher profit margin than food, which is attractive at a time when value meals are cutting into margins at fast food restaurants. Basically, drinks are easy to make, they don't require a lot of people, and you can sell them for much more money than other things. So they have high margins. So relatively easy to make. Relatively means relative to something else. So compared to something else. So a hamburger might require lots of ingredients, might require somebody frying something, cooking a bun, melting cheese, all of these types of things, where a drink might just require mixing at the beginning of the day and then pouring the drink. Less labor. Labor, of course, is people doing a job. So whatever that labor is, labor costs. Supply chain complexity. We heard the word supply chain a lot during COVID. So supply chain has to do with where do you get your ingredients, where do they come from, how do they arrive wherever your business is it by boat, is it by airplane, how can you get them to your restaurant, is it come by truck, does it come over a long distance? All of these things have to do with supply chain and how complex it is. So the easier the supply chain, the easier it is to get it to your restaurant, the lower the cost. There is plenty of room for growth. Many customers skip drinks when placing meal orders, so it's an easy boost if they are enticed to add one. Bold flavors and attractive visuals could fuel spontaneous purchases. This is saying that people who do go to the fast food restaurants often buy a meal, but maybe not a drink. So getting them to add a drink, and there's a lot of room for this kind of growth. Enticed means you persuade someone to get something. You offer something that's very nice and very attractive, which means you make people want to buy it or you make people want to do it. Could fuel spontaneous purchases. To fuel something is to persuade. Fuel is more about just providing the labor, providing the work to kind of get the response, where entice is more like being attractive. Spontaneous means something happening immediately. I often think of spontaneous purchases as those purchases that sometimes happen when you're checking out of a grocery store and you buy something at the last minute. So that's a spontaneous purchase. All right, to finish up, McDonald's wants to lure customers at all times of the day, from the morning boost to afternoon cool down. We're not just serving drinks. We're creating new reasons to visit, new ways to enjoy, and new moments to savor. So this paragraph is saying that drinks become something that you can do any time of the day. McDonald's is saying they're not just focusing on drinks, they're focusing on time. So when can you buy a good drink? So maybe a morning coffee or something special in the morning brings customers in at that time. They're focused on getting many more customers throughout the day. I do want to point out a grammatical idea here because this sentence is quite good for it. So we have something like here, we're creating new reasons to visit. So new reasons to visit, new ways to enjoy, and new moments to savor. Do you see how that sentence has 3 parts and every part has the same rhythm? New blank to blank, new blank to blank, new blank to blank. In the English language, this is a literary technique called parallelism, and it's often very powerful when you're writing a sentence or when you're speaking to someone. We have this, humans are very good at recognizing patterns, and so this rhythmic pattern creates this sort of anticipation in our brain. We're ready to see what the new word might be, but we recognize this pattern. And so anytime you write a sentence where you're going to have three things, creating the sentence in the same way, using the same pattern, is a very powerful, impactful way. We are creating is the verb, new reasons to visit, new ways to enjoy, and new moments to savor. So these are all three things that they are creating. Okay, and the word savor here, savor is when you are tasting something and you want to continue tasting. It's a slow taste. You want to make sure you get all of that flavor in your mouth. So savor is to really slowly enjoy something. Well, there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that article. For our business news breakdown, had to do with fast food restaurants and how they are dealing with not enough foot traffic. So they're turning to beverages, making them cool looking, making them interesting, making people want to focus on beverages. If you like this kind of content, again, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you again in our next KuLAB.